Please go subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. Now, I'm using that Rumble channel for any purposes of me getting kicked off YouTube and also for more of my spicier joints. It's free as well. I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well. So go subscribe to FSTV22. That is Franchise Sports TV 22 on Rumble. Before this video begins, actually, I have another announcement to make. Make sure you turn on the notifications for newer videos. Sometimes subscribers don't get all the new videos, and make sure you like the videos as well. It helps the channel in the algorithm. The Mavericks have made improvements. They kept Kyrie Irving around. They added Grant Williams from the Boston Celtics. Their guard play will be astronomically crazy with Luka and Kyrie in the backcourt. But there is one issue with this team that has not been addressed, and they thought it had been addressed in Christian Wood, but now he's gone. There's no big. The defending champs, their strength will always be in their superstar center, Nikola Jokic, with his way of moving the ball, and also Jamal Murray. We cannot discount Jamal Murray, but I think losing Bruce Brown can be a big loss. But this team will still be involved in the playoffs, possibly returning to the NBA Finals for a second time in a row. Well, adding Chris Paul is one thing. He will help on the offense end. But there's one glaring problem with this team. Age. Steph 35, Clay and Draymond 33, and the old man himself on the verge of 40. See, it looks good on paper 7 years ago, but the youth will definitely have to step up. But there's another problem. This team is too small, and this team is still bogus for what they did with Jordan Poole. I don't think they will be forgiven. I don't think Jordan Poole is ever going to forgive them. I hope he puts 40 on their head. The Houston Rockets have made strides to improve over the offseason. Ime Udoka is the new coach, a defensive-minded coach. He worked in Boston with the young team before. He was booted out for clapping white cheeks. But with the Celtics, he turned them into a defensive unit. You can do the same with the Rockets, especially with Dylan Brooks there now. As long as he no more, let's say, Dylan Brooks, no more nut shots, please. You can be a detriment to the team. But their weakness is still they're young, and this team can be very, very suspect. Very suspect. And I'm not talking about basketball. And the last thing they need is a Mongol Slade on their team. Thank God they rejected his ass, because, you know. The most talked about team in the league has added more players to cushion the fall of LeBron James if this team fails. Their strengths is the role players and one Anthony Davis. Their weaknesses is Anthony Davis and LeBron, meaning AD becomes a Disney or street clothes playing way below his means, and that means LeBron has become the man, and those days are practically over for him. Oh yeah. Hopefully the refs won't have the Lakers shooting 55 free throws compared to the opposing team's 6 free throws. Yeah, we caught on already. This team should avoid the James Harden sweepstakes as much as possible. They already have enough problems of their own. Will Kawhi play 40 games? Who will be kidding? He'll find a way to play 30 games. The strength of this team being these two superstars along with Russell Westbrook, but the weaknesses will always be the availability of both Kawhi and Paul George. I see these two playing 80 games combined. Well, there's no John Morant for at least 26 games due to his cross-playing as Ja Wick. So that means new guards Derrick Rose and Marcus Smart will have to be stepping up. The thing I noticed about this team is that they're small up front, but with Steven Adams and Brandon Clark returning, it might be a little bit different. Defensively, they might be the same with Marcus Smart, but this team has to mature big time, meaning John Morant stay away from the Blicks, because Derrick Rose ain't there to babysit grown men. He already told y'all. This team can be so much better when Karl Anthony Towns is shipped away. You can't have two underwhelming players like Cat and Rudy Gobert on the same team. These two are holding back the greatness of Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry. With all this talking from Cat this summer, he better show up this season, because he has been the weakest link on this team. Running his mouth. You better show up. You better show up. You know the weakness of this team is Zion himself. Last year I picked this team to make it far, but Zion's hamstring went out on him. I was looking right early in the season when they was around the #1 seed in the West, very, very briefly. This team has all the needs and necessities to be great, along with Brandon Ingram, CJ McCullough. But Zion, please, for the life of yourself, please stay out the bakery. And I'm not talking about food either. I have high hopes for this team, hoping they make the playoffs last year, but it came up short to the Timberwolves. But this team is primed for the future. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be this superstar on this team, with the supporting guys of Josh Giddey and Lou Dortz, and they also will be receiving Chet Holmgren, back from injury. I expect no more than a playoff spot from this team this year, or else Three Stooges slaps across the board. Oh, another super team. If Kevin Durant does not get this done with this team, I don't know what else to say. They have depth, they have scoring, but what's very questionable is the defensive side. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal had never been known for their impeccable defense. I don't think Yusuf Nurkic will be enough at center. Well, we shall see. Maybe this team loses to another foreign player again. The New York Blazers are young, high flyers, and hungry. Dane time is over. Now, with DeAndre Ayton, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, and many others on this team could be possibly a play-in team. Call me crazy, but this team has enough time to fall and fail and grow, and I hope fans don't expect too much, but expect the unexpected. The Kings had made a surprise appearance in the playoffs last year, something that hasn't been done since the Bush administration. This team is hungry, this team is young, this team has new jerseys for the 9th time in 5 years, but Mike Brown has this team playing great on all cylinders last year, and hopefully he can repeat the same this year. I expect another high seed this year and an advance to the semifinals this year, something that hasn't been done since the Bush administration. This team is fast, but they do lack depth and size. It's a new age in San Antonio. Victor will bring back the days of Tim Duncan. Well, maybe not yet. We gotta see. When Tim Duncan was drafted in '97, he did have David Robinson. There's no David Robinson this time for old Wimby. They'll need more pieces as time goes on to bring back those days of Tim Duncan. For now, just enjoy it, San Antonio, that you possibly could have one of the best players to ever grace the NBA court on your hands once again. This team in a post-Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell era has not been disappointing. It was in the playoff mix last year, but the lack of a star did catch up with them in the end. Not to say Lauri Markkanen is not a star, but they didn't have a prime scorer on that team. I want to say it's probably one of the reasons why Donovan Mitchell was not successful in Utah. But the Jazz have time. Maybe the improvement of Walker Kessler and the addition of John Collins will help this season. And here are my predictions for the Western Conference playoffs this year. Nuggets, Suns, Kings, Warriors, Thunder, Mavericks, Lakers, Clippers. That's what I'm thinking will be the top 8 teams, but not in that order. And your play-in teams, the last two at least, the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. That's the way I see it. Somebody may not make it this year, because the West they have been stacked in the past. It wasn't that long ago when a team that was 54 and they ain't not even 54, 52 and 30 barely made the playoffs. It could possibly happen this year, because there are a lot of great teams in the West, or potentially great teams in the West. So if you didn't hear Memphis being called on here, I'm sorry, Grizzlies fans. It's gonna be tough this season. But anyways, that concludes my predictions, strengths, and weaknesses of every Western Conference team. Stay tuned for the Eastern Conference.